Hey, hello everyone, good afternoon. It is the 1st of July, so that means that I'm here giving you a few tips on capturing those June memories. So this is your chance to open your camera roll, take a little scroll through some of those photos that you took during the month of June, just been, heart those that are your favorites and get them printed so that they are ready to be popped into a little June layout guide. Now, our Moments Made Monthly program allows you to do your photos really quickly like this. It is really just 1 hour of spending a bit of time printing and populating your photos onto a page. And then you'll end up with an album full of monthly memories. So in this album, I've got my January memories in here, and it goes through with, I've got my February memories, and these are all part of the Moments Made Monthly Club. That was our March memories. And you'll notice with all of them, there's quite a few spots for photos. We're allowing you to capture as many just random fun things that have happened throughout your month. And we're now up to June, which is a really lovely, fun layout for you to do. Now, those that are doing the program have been sent today their instructions. It gives them a visual of what you're creating. It gives you some basic instructions. And then on the second page, it gives you lots of little tips for elevating the page a little bit more if you're a bit more of a creative soul and want to do a bit more to it. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of the basics with this. There is a little bit of cutting to begin with to make this quite a fun design. And I'll tell you, this has actually been inspired from a card. So let's just have a look at those cards. These are cards that I've made already just a long while ago, actually at a team meeting. However, it is just a really nice, simple idea of making the background a bit interesting, I guess. So how do we do this? I'm going to show you with a card first, very simply all we need to do. And that will give you a bit of a visual as to what you're going to need to do with your larger sheet of paper for your scrapbook page. So let's pull this to one side. I'm just going to pop this there so it's to the side here. And I will bring in just a little piece, and all we need is a square. And I'm going with a 3x3 square. Now, if your patterned paper has got a direction on it, usually that's only on one side, and I want you to have that side facing upright. You get it into the size square that you want. As I said, I did a 3x3. Then all you're simply going to do is cut from the top left corner to the bottom right corner. So I'm going to place this into my little trimmer. Now, when you're cutting corners, it's best not to start from the top and go straight down because you could make that corner look a bit messy. It's better to put your blade partway through and then go off. And that way you're less likely to sort of jag it up, that corner edge. So I'm just going to do that from there. So we've cut that in half. Now what we do with that is we keep this bottom left piece exactly in the direction it's been cut, and that's why I wanted the directional one on the top. That's going to go here. And then this other one we are going to rotate. So instead of it being the way it was cut, we're now going to rotate it and flip it, so that the long edge is going up the side. Okay, so let's just do that one more time. It started off like this. We're going to keep this one exactly the direction it was, but we're going to take this one, flip it, and rotate it so the long edge is down the outside right. And that way we've created that really fun kind of V look using triangles, which is just a nice little addition. So you can see for these particular cards, bringing them back again, I've just used the front and back of different pieces. I've made sure I've chosen pieces that have a little bit of a nice complementary match from one side to the other. And the same with this paper here. One side was quite busy and the other side was quite neutral. So that worked really well. Okay, so that's the premise of today's layout. Very nice and easy. However, there's a little trick to what I'm going to show you. Now, when you do your layout, I'm going to pull that layout back in front of you again, just so that you've got a visual again. Let's just pull it in. Okay, when we do this layout, as you can see, I have done those triangles on this side. So I've got my big left side triangle here, and then my right triangle is the one that I've flipped over and rotated so the long edge was down this side. Now, what we can do with this is actually conserve paper and get both this side's pattern paper and all this pattern paper out of just one sheet. So if you're into conserving paper, watch this next little tip. So I'm going to take my 12x12, and the first thing I'm going to do, as per the instructions, is cut out my square. So my square tells me that I want an 8 by 8 triangle square. So I'm now going to go 2 inches in, 2 inches down, and cut to the 10-inch mark and rotate. So by doing this, I'm getting my square, my initial square that I want to use for my left-hand side, but I'm also creating a frame for my right-hand side. Pretty good, eh? Nice and easy. So I'm just going again from 2 inches down to 10. You could choose. You might want to have a slightly bigger. Oh, where is my 10 inch? There it is. Sorry, my eyes aren't working too well. You might want to have a slightly bigger square on your left-hand side and a slightly smaller frame on your right-hand side. And you can do that. You can just go in a little bit less. I went in 2 inches. Okay, so we get our little square out. We've got our nice little frame. Now looking at my pattern piece, this side has got a little bit of a direction. This side really it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do that triangle cut like I suggested with the little card version, going from left top to bottom right. And there is our broken up pieces. What I'm going to do is flip this over and then put the long edge on the right. And that's going to be my left hand side. And I've got this frame. I can choose which side I want to use for the right hand side. So that's just a nice easy way to conserve your paper. Now there's a few other nice little ideas here too. With my layout, I actually did something more with this. So I went and cut another square out, and I'll show you the finish. Okay, so I had my big frame, but I actually cut another square out of it so that I could flip it over and see both sides of the paper on this side as well. So I went one step further again to be able to use that one sheet of paper, but in many ways across the two design. Pretty cool, huh? So that's a little tip for you to try this month with your photos, is to choose a patterned paper that you really love, and particularly if both sides are complementary, and then create this really fun triangle layout. Now, what paper have I been using? So I have been using this quite stunning set. Let me just pull it in. I haven't quite got all of it. It's called Violet Dreams. And the Violet Dreams suite is a brand new suite that's just been released today on our website. It's one of our online only releases. I haven't quite got all the pattern pieces here, but you can see it's just got quite a dramatic look on one side. But the other side, this time it's kind of a little sort of soft purpley colour. Very, very subtle. So you've got a very busy side and then a subtle side. This one is probably my favourite. It's got quite a lovely large bouquet, which these could be fussy cut out. The other side has just got a really soft stripe. So quite a versatile range. This one here has got a soft diagonal. Diagonals are really good to work with actually for this sort of thing. And then the other side was a little bit more patterned. Okay, and then this is the one that I showed the card with, I think. We had this lovely design and then the more subtle Secret Sea background. So it's quite a neat range. I think there's actually another couple of sheets. Of course, the one that I've used here with the green. And there's one other as well, I think. Or that could be the range. And then also in it, which is quite neat, is 2 sheets of these die cuts. So how do the die cuts work? I've got some here that are kind of punched out. You've got some frames along the top. You've got some black and white elements. And then you've also got these beautiful sort of floral bouquets down the bottom. So these ones, we can take the floral bouquet as it is and just use that in our embellishment. Or we can take some of these little punch outs, and these are exactly the same shape. So that one there has got that little cutie coming out, so I know it goes there. This one's a smaller one, so that's going to go across there. They're exactly the same shape as the flowers in the bouquet, but what it's allowing us to do is to raise our flowers. Actually, did I put that in the right spot? Oh yeah, that seems to work. It means we can actually put a little bit of dimensionals behind there and raise them. So if I go back to that first card that I did, you'll see I've got one of those bouquets on the front, and I have actually raised, I don't know if you can see it, but these 4 little flowers have been raised with dimensionals because I've just used those little additional layers to do that. and it gives quite a nice impression, a bit more depth to your creation. So that's quite a fun idea. So that's what is available in this. We've got 4 different colours. It's hard to see it there actually. Let's go back to this one. 4 different colours of bouquets that you can do that with. You can even raise some of the leaves or add in more leaves. You've got these lovely little frames, and you'll see I've used one of the frames on here just as an accent point. And then there's the black and white black and white flowers, which you could colour your own or just keep them as black and white, which is always fun. Now in my layout, I took a little step up. Rather than just white in the background, I am using a beautiful specialty paper. Now this one does not show up on camera at all well, but it is in person so lovely. It's called Shimmering Stripes, and it's actually got a little gold shimmer. I don't know if we can even pick up any of that shimmer, but it's so much of it sparkling away here for me. It's got a little gold shimmer going through, so I have used that as the backdrop just to add a little bit of elegance to that page. And then I've also done a little bit extra by bringing in the matching bundle, the Framed Violets bundle. And when I stamped this little oval into my die cut, I've stamped it with silver foil so that it's got a little shine to it as well. So those are just a couple of little extra things that I have done just to maybe lift the layout slightly. I've also pulled in a really fun set called Help Me Grow and made some embellishment clusters. So we've got a really cool, don't know if you can see it there, some sort of pot plants with some of those flowers poked in from the set, and over here a little pot plant. So it's just a nice little touch for something reasonably neutral. So if I go back to the photos that I've already printed for June, oh, one last thing, I have to show you the best thing. In this range, there's also, oh, you can't really see them, there's these beautiful sparkly little flowers. So I've actually used a few, sort of tucked into all my little embellishment clusters. I've popped in a few, but aren't they stunning? Now, I'm just letting you on a secret here. Those that have been doing this Moments Made Monthly for 6 months with me already are being gifted a whole sheet of these for themselves to use. So you can all expect these to either come in the post or next time I see you at class. Once they come in, I had to order them today, so once they arrive in, I will have a little gift of these for you as a thank you for joining me on this journey of Moments Made Monthly. So anyway, we'll go back to grabbing my photos. So the way I printed my photos for this layout is I did a selection that were 3x4, so that's 2 photos on a standard size photo. And then I should have done 4 actually, 4 full-sized photos, which I'm going to cut into the 4x4s. Very easy to do, so let's just do that now just to show you. You can take any 6x4 image and cut it down very easily. I just make sure that I'm going to get everybody in first before I start. So I'm going to do a little chop there, and then I'm going to do a little 4x4 chop on that side. And in fact, I know when I print, I'm very slightly less than 4, just 1 off. So I'm just going to take 1 little smidgen off here, just so I know that I'll get that nice little border all the way around. And that will be one of my little 4x4s that I put there. Do you recognize who's in the photo, guys? That's many of you from retreat days. At the start of this month, we had retreat, which is fabulous. So that will go in there. Now for these ones, they're 3x3. So I'm going to have a little series of Greg making these planter pots. Well, our vegetable garden. He decided we'd do raised garden now. So I'm just going to take my little option of a 2 photo collage. And I'm going to create these and put them into 3x3s. Now that is the stunning Manawa Falls. Some of us walked there when we were at retreat. I'm going to cut that one down to 3x3. Let's just see if I can do it without losing too much of that extra around the side. So that one, potentially, I thought I could tuck in behind here. Now there's nothing to stop you from actually putting a 6x4 or a 6x4 here as well, by the way. I just like seeing this the triangle, so I haven't done that. But if I just pull this out, oh, doesn't want to come out. If I pull this out, I have, yes, left that so that I could, I'll just need to trim it a little bit more down, but I could find a way to tuck that in there so that I can just highlight my photo. So I'll obviously have to shape my photo, but that's another little photo spot that I can pop in. So that's kind of targeted for there. I'm going to do 3x3s out of all of these and pop them along. So our little planter boxes will be over here. And then I've got things like I took up knitting again this month. There's my cat on my lap. It's not the easiest to knit with cats, but she seems to think she always has to be there. I went to a market over at Papamoa on the weekend. Beautiful day for it. There was all the students selling their business studies products, some really cool products. I've got a she shed there. I had to give that back, but it looked kind of cool in the photo. So that's going to be in there, and I've got a few more photos. Now, one very last little tip. If you've got more photos, then I've got photo spots for you. You can easily, for this layout style, grab your flip flaps. Now, flip flaps are your little extensions to your protectors. I'll just get these photos out of the way to show you. Now, the flip flaps have got an opening, and I tend to tuck the outer bit over that opening. That's your little sticky strip that you peel off, and we can pop a little flip flap straight over the top of that space, and that gives us space for 2 more photos. 1, 2. And because I've got this grid design, I would potentially put one opening to the top like that. I'd pop this one to the side, opening that way. Potentially, I might rejig this if I was to put in more photos. This one here, I would almost have, oopsie, that was to the side, yes, this one would be coming downwards, and then this one would be going to the side. So it is quite possible. I just as a little tip, I would probably have them spaced just outside the grid, because there's a little bit of extra leeway with all the seams. So if you don't want them to overlap, you'd want to put them down so they just touch nicely. Now that way we are getting another probably 8 photos on top of the photos that were already being displayed. So that is a way for some of these months, if you've got quite a few little ideas, little photos you want to pop on, you could add in the flip flaps. And I made sure that I had photos the right sizes so that you could do that this month for your page. So that's it. That is a few tips for you to get started with. Have a lot of fun going through your camera roll, finding those favourite photos from June and getting them down onto your layout. Thanks for joining me today. I hope there was some inspiration and that you get into your craft room and get some memories captured. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.